What's up, Ooses? It's your boy, Big Mokie. Welcome to the Big Mokie Show, my podcast, aka Mike Lens, if you want to call me that. Today's a special episode. I tell you why. I tell you why. Because it is my first podcast that I'm going to post on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and yes, YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Now, look, I ain't looking to be a YouTube star or whatever, but if it goes there, it goes there. That's what's up. I'm looking for good guests to come up and to interview them and, for them to share their stories. Hopefully, I have a really special guest lined up coming up within the next week or two. Big fan of hers on TikTok. She inspires me, especially when I have those bad days, depressional days. She's great to watch. Very entertaining, very educated, and just a cool person in general. You can just tell by her videos. Okay. If you don't know who I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, it is, I believe, pin.up.lee on TikTok. Pin.up.lee. So look her up, man. She's cool. She's cool. She's good people. So I just took a chance and I messaged and I was like, hey, I have this TikTok. Do you mind being my guest? And she was like, yeah, sure. I'm like, oh, awesome. But I hope I didn't scare her off because, I got a tendency to be super excited or whatever. And I'm like, hey, so maybe we can do a video call and whatnot. And this is the main reason why I wanted to get my podcast on my YouTube. Okay. But if you guys don't know me, I am Mr. Big Mokie. My name is Michael Lenz. Okay. Born and raised in Midland, Texas. Live in Flagstaff in Winslow, Arizona. That's just me. That's where I am. I am where I'm at. Yeah, I got children that I love dearly. They're better than me. And that's the goal. That's the goal as a parent, for your child to be better than you. Listen, I'm a musician, they're musicians, and they're 10 times better than me. And that's awesome. Speaking of music, you can also pick up some of my beats on Apple Music as Big Mokie or Michael Lenz. Just search it. Of course, I'm just, I'm not popular, but that's okay. But my music is out there for you to listen to. They're only 99 cents. It's easy peasy. Yes, Oos. All right, check this out. This is what I like to do. Okay, I grew up doing this type of stuff before there was no podcast. And I was thinking the other day, I was like, dude, this is podcast is almost just way back in the day when you watch movies or you hear your grandparents talk about stories, how there was no television, you know what I mean? Now it's kind of the best of both worlds, you got the YouTube, streaming, and then you got your podcast platforms where people just sit and listen, you know what I mean? It's the same thing. Hey, Oos, make the world go round, making the world go round. Nothing is ever new under the sun, yeah? All right, check this out. So, I have this buddy of mine. He started this class with me. We got this book right here, and I'm just going to read one little snippet of it. And that's what my podcast is about. It's books, movie reviews, WWE, football, whatever. If you haven't heard any of my podcasts before, that's what I'm about. So this book is called The Principles and Power of Vision. Okay? And the author is Dr. Miles Monroe. All right, so today's snippet. Many people fail because they give up the first time they fall down. I'll read it again. Many people fail, Oos, because they give up the first time they fall, huh? Many people fail because they give up the first time they fall. Hey, man, look. I've done that plenty of times, especially when I was a little bit younger, when I was a little Oos, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much, man, what it's saying is if it's something you're passionate about, and of course, you put yourself out there and the results aren't where they want to be, like where you want them to be, give it time, Oos. Like I remember an interview. I was listening to Outkast, and Andre 3000 said um, one of their songs was out. They made that song 2 years before it actually got popular. I think it was Rosa Parks. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But you can actually um, find that interview on YouTube, on the web, of course, everything. You can find everything on the web, especially when you just Google, you know what I'm saying? Oops. But yeah, that's you like with this podcast that I'm making, I don't have too many followers right now, and that's okay. But this is something I love to do. I'm passionate about it. I never really had anything as passionate as this besides making music and stuff. But people say, Mike, you talk a lot. And I'm like, hmm. And then one day, my pastor, the the son, the new pastor, they're both pastors, the son and the dad. But he's like, he came back to town. Hey, you know what, brother Mike? Hey, man, look, um, I was rummaging around and I saw that you had a podcast. I'm like, nah, Oos, I don't have a podcast. I mean, I've thought about it for years and years and years. And this is one thing he's always told me. When God gives you an idea, put it on the shelf and let it sit there. Okay. If it keeps coming up, keeps coming up, keeps coming up, and it's still there, that's for you, Oos. That is for you. All right. So, same thing with this podcast. I would love to have a team of people to help me out with this. But right now, it's kind of like just give and go, trial and error. And you know what, Oos? That is okay. That is A-okay. All of that. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, Oos, I would like to segue into, actually, let's talk about that, what happened yesterday in Maryland, that shipping freight running into that bridge, huh? Yeah, you know what? I don't know. Excuse me, tragedy, man. I mean, there's a lot of speculations about that. You know what I mean? And you know, with that shipping freight, the power went out and then it came back on and it went out again and it hit like one of the columns on the bridge, on the key bridge, and uh, they actually had an audio of a guy calling and getting out of his car, pretty much saving his own life. But unfortunately, what they found out on the news today that there were 6 lives that were lost. So, prayers and big ups to the family out there who's lost their loved ones on that bridge. There was an interview by one of the officers, and he was saying that that a mayday was called, and authorities went out to the bridge as fast as possible to stop traffic there. And but you know, they were able to, you know, kind of slow down traffic. But I'm pretty sure there were people that were like, you know what, I just want to cross this bridge right now, and kept going. But who knows? I'm not there. We're not there. The only people who knows are the people who was there. But big ups and prayers to all those guys at the Key Bridge, with that freight running into that column. And then it was weird because the column, like way from it, kind of like kaplow. That was weird. There's a lot of theories and stuff. That's why there's fact checkers, folks. You know what I'm saying? That's why there's fact checkers. Because if you get the news from TikTok or whatever, ain't nothing wrong with TikTok. You know what I'm saying? But make sure you get it from a source, a actual source, news source, people who went to school for that, journalism and stuff like that. Not just any and everybody, not just me, because I ain't no journalist. I'm just a guy who wants to do a podcast and created a YouTube to help his podcast. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just being as humble as I can be with that. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Hey, look. So on my last podcast, I spoke about what happened on Monday Night Raw and everything. And hey, look, it's getting really good. It is getting really, really, really good. Especially, with The Rock coming back. And there's other YouTubers and podcasters that are talking about, different scenarios that are going on. Is The Rock going to turn on Roman Reigns? Is Seth Rollins going to turn on Cody Rhodes or whatever and whatnot? But on my last podcast, I talked about how people are kind of like overlooking like the bigger picture. Like, you're missing like different signs because it's just like, oh, The Rock's going to turn on this person, and it's blah 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 blah. Now, in my mind, I'm kind of going back and forth. Somebody's going to turn on somebody, or nobody ain't going to turn on nobody, or if you're a WWE fan and if you're a fan of factions, you've also noticed on AEW, that boy John Moxley has not been there, aka Dean Ambrose. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? Maybe John Moxley might show up as Dean Ambrose, or he might show up as John Moxley at WrestleMania, and then like you got a reformed, more powerful, more experienced Shield. Roman Reigns was wearing a sweater that said "Family above all," And Cody Rhodes lately been doing the whole wolf pack thingy with the kissing the wolf pack shooting. I don't know, Oos. I don't know. We got to wait till April 6th and 7th for the 2 nights of WrestleMania. And, man, but this last one, when The Rock left Cody Rhodes in a bloody pulp mess. Talk about bringing back the Attitude Era. Oos, what? He's like, The Rock is like, hey, boy. What, you got nothing else to say now, huh, boy? He's using that word a lot. Boy, I'm your boss. The final boss. Ooh. Hey, look, man, look. If you're not into WWE, it's all right. It's all right. But, hey, it's some good stories. It is some good stories on there. But this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to keep it pretty short because this is really a test run of me posting this on my YouTube. You can also find my YouTube, and it's just Big Mokie, Bigmokie, Big Mokie on YouTube. But, before I go, everybody knows I got to do a reading from the bro code, from How I Met Your Mother. Article 106. Given an option on quantity when ordering a beer with his bros, a bro always selects the largest size available or shall never hear the end of it that night. So, bros, when you go out with your other bros, make sure you order a large quantity of beer. What? That's my Stone Cold. What? Can you imagine that? Stone Cold and maybe Donald Trump. Stone Cold. I can't really do Donald, but that's China. Stone Cold. Everything is really good right now. I'll be going, what? I'm just kidding. But I believe my Barack Obama is a little bit better. But, hey, y'all, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This was a short one, but like I said, this is the first one that's going to pop up on YouTube. You can find me on, you can listen to my podcast on Apple Podcast, okay? The Big Mokie Show, okay? You can also find me on Spotify, same thing, The Big Mokie Show. And on YouTube, Big Mokie, maybe The Big Mokie Show. All right? Peace and love, live life, y'all.